It looks like they are inviting Nakana into the match, and we have Philippines' top player joining this matchup.
Okay, so it looks like they're having a little bit of discussion between the teams on who's actually going to be playing. And it does look like this one is going to get started with the second warm-up. This is from the Cox, a full moon night, the foolish difficulty.
Interesting.
And that is a beautiful keyboard.
Yeah, interesting BG choice. Maybe it's... I don't know what that's trying to tell us. But Jinjin has confirmed that this map does not have spam or SBs, so...
Well, you could already tell just by looking at it from the beginning here that it's not just... Well, I really hope it's not just a legit map till the lead-ins are done and then it's just machine gun.
I guess we can't rule out the possibility. But no, so far it's a very calm, low-density consistency pick as for now.
Oh no, this actually looks to be a legit map here. We're seeing long note hold sections and varying levels of release, so this actually seems to be a decent warm-up. But with it being a decent warm-up, you could actually see that the Philippines has the early lead advantage here with the slight accuracy overall. It does look like the US is having a little bit of problems with the releases on some of these long notes.
I have to say I'm a big fan of this song. It's very calming, even though I'm sure these players are currently not very what am I trying to say? I'm sure they're... What's the word for like that? Yeah, I'll think of it later.
Yeah, this
we do see the Philippines taking the lead in this warm-up.
Yeah, and I mean it's just a chill driving jam right here. You know, nothing too crazy. Actually, it looks to be quite a decent map too. The structure and patterning looks pretty well. Definitely not good to see the U.S. struggling with keeping up the accuracy up to snuff with the Philippines here on these long note sections. Obviously, it is just a warm-up, so no big stress involved here. But if that's any kind of indicator on what they need to look out for, we might be seeing another situation where we have a team that's just going to be able to perform better at the long notes and want to stick with those. I know the U.S. doesn't have too many problems with speed picks or consistency, so that might be where they try to get their bread and butter on the points here, but it really kind of depends on who's going to be the one that gets to play first, and they kind of get to set the tone for the match.
That's right, Z-Tron. By the way, the word I was trying to think of earlier was adrenaline. I was trying to talk about how the players must be full of adrenaline right now, but it didn't quite work out. In any case, the scores are at least staying pretty close. I think no more than 20,000 difference. Interesting pattern is coming here. We have that trill in the long notes.
Yeah, Dada's having a little bit of an issue playing those back forth long notes like that. Oh my god.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The scores just flipped all the way over to the United States side.
Yeah, Dada's really having some issues with that, and it looks like the US was able to stay a little bit more consistent. Actually seeing a drop of 93 down to 93%.
Right, I'm not sure if that was entirely due to those jacks we were just seeing, those repeated presses, or if there was something else going on, like maybe he got distracted. But either way, it's just a warm-up, so...
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, Arquin actually holding a full combo on this. It looks to be at a 99.22%. Very
Not
impressive.
bad.
Not to say that I'm too surprised, is Arquin's definitely been a name around Mania community for quite some time. And out of all the names, like obviously Jinjin, Arquin, Gekio, very easy to remember there. But Arquin's been around for quite some time, and it definitely shows as their accuracy with these hold notes and just how they play patterns in general, pretty clean. You did see a small drop there, but nothing too crazy.
Arquin's a great guy. In any case, we're reaching the end of the warm-up, and it is going to the United States with a 70,000 point lead.
Yes, and it looks like that with all that done, our warm-ups are out of the way. We will be seeing our rolls and then our bands in just a moment.
This matchup, I would like to point out, is that Nikana is currently the highest ranked player in the room.
Whoa! Dang!
Whoa!
Arquin with that legendary 99 roll just crushed poor Gekido's 14, I think. I think he had a 14. It went too quick, but that was absolutely amazing.
That sounds like a good omen for Philippines.
Jinjin getting a little bit of a roll there for the chances of the U.S. Getting a 38, that's not looking too good. Let's hope that that is not a precursor, Jin, and that you guys will do just fine. But you do have to keep your wits about you, as the Philippines definitely does not want to see a loss here today.
And the bands will be coming out, starting with Gekido's team captain for the United States, Gekido's band. And it's Romancing Lair, which is, of course, that long note pick we saw in that last match. And Arquin's band is next. And Doppelganger.
Because it's evening here.
Gekido, for whom this is one of his favorite maps in this pool, is not happy with that. But I have to understand both of these picks for the bands. Romancing Lair is a complex long note pick, which the United States will not want to be facing, and
going to secure Philippines that victory very easily, 1-0 in favor of the Philippines.
I have to say, from a spectator's standpoint, those long notes are quite beautiful. Maybe that's just me as a mapper, but I really like that map. In any case, let's see if the United States can come back with that by winning their own pick.
Yeah, this might be a back and forth game here.
It's going to be That's not the name, is it? Hesperides. There we go.
Yeah. And, you know, just like that's totally what we call here. The U.S. is going to go with a speed pick here. We're going to see pretty simple speed patterns here. 200 BPM, mostly stairs with this one. At the quarter mount, you will see the 300 BPM bursts. And, you know, this is the kind of stuff that we've seen the U.S. play in the past. This is what they're good at. If Philippines can break a point on the U.S., this might really mess with their mojo. As you really don't want to lose on your pick, and getting break pointed right at the beginning of the match is not the way you want to get into this.
Oh, I had something to say. Forgot it. In any case, it's not important because we're getting started with the second song of the match. Detroit, was this the same map that Chile chose for their first pick?
I do believe so. Or might not have been their first pick, but definitely where they got their first point.
This was Chile's second point.
Oh, well,
okay.
Second pick, first
Second
point,
pick.
right?
Right, I see. But romancing, no, okay, yeah, I
Oh
understand.
no, sorry. It was their first pick, but it was second pick in the match. So keep reading the count. Yeah, first pick.
Alright, what was the first pick of the match?
Romancing
Was
match.
it... Huh.
Yeah, she started off with
yeah.
Romancing May, which was very strange.
We see the Philippines taking the lead again in this pick, despite it being the US and despite it being less long note centered. Quite interesting. Oh, we forgot to mention a roster change real quick. Not a roster change, a player swap. Jinjin taking Craig's place. I believe Craig is sort of the US's token LN player. He'll probably be stepping in for those hard LN picks. The score is still very close, though I'd say no more than 10,000. So as we near the end of the map, we'll see if Philippines can hold on to this. Drop from Squishy Korean. I believe that... Yeah, that looks like the first drop of the match. Surprisingly coming from the US's top player. And as we near the end, we have these final few chords. I want to say, yeah, and Philippines takes the break point against the United States. Who would have guessed it? Not only is Philippines holding their own with their long note picks, they're also defeating the United States on their own pick.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean
this
that's
means
definitely a good start for the Philippines. Yeah, I mean getting the first point is one thing, but like getting the point off the other team's map is cream of the crop.
That's right. Maybe the United States will be looking to change their strategy at this point, because clearly they're doing something wrong. In any case, we did see them lose a few points in the group stages and still come back and win. So there's, nothing saying that this one ended up being Flash 2 from the United States, but I just have to report the fact that they are. As it is, Philippines is currently sweeping the United States 2-0.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying prior to. That's not a great way to start that for them. The US losing out on their pick. It can happen though, and as you saw right there, it did. That's going to give a huge morale boost to the Philippines here. And it's going to put the US on the spot here. They've had a pretty easy match run so far in the tournament, and this might be where they really have to step up. And now they're going to have to play in Philippines court once again as the map pick is back over to them. This could be a 3rd point secured for the Philippines very easily.
And their pick is Pink Gold, which we also saw in the last map pick by Indonesia because it is a long note pick. Wait, did we see it in Indonesia? I feel like it did.
Yeah, well, one other fun thing to note is this was also kind of mentioned as one that they might have wanted to ban as well at the very beginning of this match if you look through chat.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, and so you can see Gekio is not exactly happy about this map at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's long, 4 minutes, it's got long notes, and it has speed velocity, which makes it just kind of wears down on your stamina. And I guess US is in a position where they're now trying to break Philippines' point to take back that advantage. Because, of course, now that Philippines has broken the point, if they continue to get their own picks, if they continue to win their own picks, then it will be Philippines' match. This is kind of an interesting matchup we have here, because earlier when we were discussing who we thought would place in this tournament, we were saying that United States, Philippines, and Indonesia, Chile, they were all strong contenders for the third place spot. And here we have 2 of those contenders fighting against each other, so we'll see which one at least with this map pool, is the stronger team. Oh, and we do have a player leaving the match from Philippines side. For Nikana. No, well, Shoutouts is being switched for BLB Gari.
Yeah, we should be seeing, well, BLB Gari is actually already in with Arkwin, so we're just going to see who's going to get replaced with xdat.
Oh, that's right, Deetron.
It's Nikana. Okay, so Nikana swapped out for xdat, and we should be seeing this third map played in just a moment. Not looking good for the US. You can see the dislike with this map already, so this is not looking too good for us US boys. Definitely get out there and cheer for your teams, guys. If you want to see Philippines smash the US, get that Philippines love going. If you want to see the US come back and try to make a victory out of this, definitely get the love for the US going, guys. Show them that you support them, because, you know, without support, they're just themselves. They need your power.
I have to say, I was watching the Twitch chat earlier, and I saw a few people give their predictions about United States' strong performance in this match. But we've seen that so far, the Philippines has been the, I guess, favored team. We are getting started with pink gold, and it's too early for any team to have a lead. Nope. It looks like United States is starting it off with the lead.
Speaking of early, we were kind of talking about this last weekend when we were doing our matches. A lot of people actually prefer to play later in the day, and the US is actually, I know in Central Time it's 9:33 a.m. I'm not sure if any of them are West Coast, but if they're West Coast, it is incredibly early for them. If they're East Coast, it might be a little bit later, closer to afternoon time. So this shouldn't really affect too much here, as everybody seems to be playing pretty decently. And even though this is more of a long note pick, we do see a slight lead coming from the US at the moment. But with Craig and Squishy Korean dropping, that lead is not going to last much longer.
Yeah, it's very close. As I look back and forth between the scores, I can't even calculate the difference between them. But at least it's not flickering. You know, earlier I did see the United States team discussing the time for this match. What happened is that they used EST as their kind of standard time zone for calculating schedules. But because they do have some players in the West, some players did have this match starting at 7 a.m., which is not a good time to be playing video games.
Unless you were up all night previously playing video games, then it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
It does look, though, as the scores are very, very close here. The US is just barely scraping by with this. And with this being so long, those mistakes are totally okay to make, as you can pull back up the combo counter and kind of make up for any past things there. But that being said, this score is barely over 13,000. Yeah, just 1,300. Or no, not 1,300. 13,000 point difference at the moment.
Suffice to say that it's very close. Which I guess, given the last two songs we played, is a bit surprising, because as you can see, there is a lot of long notes coming down in what do you call it? In conjunction with those jacks, and we've seen Philippines doing very strong on that kind of map earlier. But maybe the US was just warming up, and now they're really getting started. Because as of right now, they're poised to take this point off of Philippines.
They definitely need to take the point there. But there's still quite a bit of map here, so it's really anybody's game here. If we see any drops from the US, really heavy drops, during these slower sections, we might see an upset for them, but the score is incredibly close. Ooh, we see a four-way drop there from Nikana, BLB Gari, and Squishy Korean and Fred. That is still going to leave the score lead in the US's favor at the moment. And that's slightly because the accuracy is just a little bit better on the U.S.'s side. But it's not really that much as the scores are flickering. It is going to go back over. No, now it's back to the U.S., back to the Philippines. Now it's back on the U.S. Is it going to stay for the U.S. though? Craig finding a miss there. Is that going to be enough for the Philippines to grab that score back over?
It's at the very end, and the scores are still close. I'm on the edge of my seat to see if it'll start flickering again. But the progress bar is now filling up, and it looks like the one miss there, but it's not enough. And
it's barely not enough. Holy crap!
That is United States wins by 1,200 points.
That is absolutely ridiculous. That was almost a loss. The U.S. just barely scraping that by, getting them on the scoreboard. It's going to be 2-1 in favor of the Philippines.
That is incredibly close. I do have to commend Arkwin, although his accuracy was not very high. He did have the only full combo of the entire match. Yeah, Gekido currently saying he can't breathe. The pressure was really on there at the end.
Yeah, if Gekido did not hold that accuracy there, that 58% on the end of his accuracy was what helped inch that over. And the entire U.S. team just keeping their accuracy as high as possible. The combos weren't really in their favor for that one, but the accuracy is what won them that battle.
Meanwhile, we have the next pick coming out from the United States. It is xdat, which is we're kind of seeing the United States favor the same maps that Chile favored, while we have the Philippines using the same maps that Indonesia favored, which I think is quite interesting. Xdat is, of course, that map that's more of a BMS style, Beat Mania. Well, actually, I don't know what BMS stands for, but it's a BMS style, different game, and it has basically no long notes, which explains why it's the preferred choice for them. Since the United States and Philippines have both taken a break point now, it's kind of evenly matched again. Also, the score is 2-1. We'll just see if Philippines advance, or if they really do have this advantage over the United States. And we are off. I mean, like, we're not off stream. I'm saying that we're starting the match. Yeah, whatever. You understood me. Ooh, we do have a very early miss coming from Gekido. I have to imagine that was a bit of nerves there. And yeah, as we start off with the light court streaming at the beginning, we see the score flickering a bit. And the United States now, I don't want to call it because there's so many misses going out from the United States team, but the United States is holding a slight lead. Nope, it's flickering again. This is what happens when I try to commentate. It's really those jacks, I believe, that are causing those misses, like Datout's now missing on that lane 1 jack. That's 3 notes in a row. It's really not a very conventional mapping style here. We have a lot of what we call anchors that are repeated presses in a lane that are, I guess, separated by other notes. Like, it goes back and forth to that lane. And also jacks when you have repeated presses in one lane.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one thing. This is kind of like a repeat of last week's match, but unfortunately it's not with the U.S. pulling ahead. The U.S. did manage to take the lead back over, but the Philippines, it seems to be able to give them a very strong fight on the maps that they are good at, and that's great for the Philippines because if they can break points on the U.S.'s picks, they've got this one in the bag.
Not to mention, Nikana and Arkwin both survived that jack section, that chord jack section, with their full combos going up to 2K, heading up towards 2K combo. You know, Zitra, I never would have expected this match to be the scores for this match to be so close. I really have to commend Philippines for that, for taking on this high seed, almost top seed team so well.
Oh, for sure. The Philippines have never really been bad at Mania either. This is kind of their home away from home. Arkwin will find a drop there, which isn't going to be great, but Gekido, Jinjin, and Mikana all finding a drop at that same mark. This might potentially give the Philippines a little bit of wiggle room, but it's not looking to be that way as Arkwin is going to drop, and those accuracies are starting to tank a little bit. xdat's having a 97 is really what's keeping them from being able to pull ahead here. As you can see, everyone on the US side has a par 98, with Gekido with a very impressive 99.10%, even taking over Arkwin in terms of accuracy, and that is going to be a second win for the US, bringing this 2-all. So definitely interesting here. We could see this one go down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, we just saw Philippines take 2 points, then the United States take 2 points. It's not a very common structure for a match, let me say that. This is what happens when two historically strong teams with different strengths take on each other in a Mania World Cup. Next team picking will be Philippines. Looks like they're deliberating currently. But I have to imagine they're gonna go with some more of those long note picks, such as Zoro Knows Senritsu. Wait, no, hold on. That is. Oh no, that actually is a map by Arkwin. Arkwin has a map in this map pool, but that's not a long note map, so forget what I just said. And the pick is Reverb by Nakamura Maiku, map by Richard Fetter. Even though this one is one of the easier maps, it still has the long notes that can trip up the United States.
Yeah, this one is a consistency pick here. So overall accuracy is going to be what you really need to strive for with this one.
I think so far we've been seeing actually very closely matched accuracies between these teams. So we'll have to see which one can take the advantage here. Meanwhile, we have a substitute with xdat leaving for BLB Gari. Oh, or the other way around. No, I was right. Yeah. I'm just confusing myself.
Here we go, and we're going to get this one underway. We're 2-all right now. The tiebreaker has never felt so close. Hopefully we will see back and forth trades, but it's still anyone's game at this point as the scores are tied.
You're not kidding. I was trying to avoid calling the tiebreaker and figure that I might curse it, but I really am hopeful for it this time. Again, we start off with the flickering, basically going back and forth every time anyone hits a note. You know, personally, as a player with terrible accuracy, I'm just really impressed whenever I see these teams that are so consistent with their hits that basically they keep the same score for such a long time. But even as I say that, Philippines is going to take the lead for now, even a small one. If we take a look at the accuracies, we see that Squishy Korean does have the highest accuracy currently, but we also see that Jinjin and Gekido are falling behind the Philippines team in terms of accuracy, which is, I believe, is giving them the lead.
Yeah, they're slightly got a little bit of a advantage there. Arkwin actually finding a drop there, so the accuracy is going to take a little bit of a hit, but Gekido also finding a drop, so taking a small accuracy hit. With Arkwin with that 99.24 versus Gekido's 99.20, that is going to give them that little bit of a bonus that they need. Everyone's accuracy here absolutely ridiculous in the 99 brackets. It might come down to just the point percentages. but it does look like the Philippines still has us in the lead at the first quarter of the map being done. This one is going to be rough for the US if they can't manage to see any drops here. If this is going to go straight down to absolute consistency and overall accuracy, the Philippines might actually have this one.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. You know, as we get further along in this tournament, we're going to be seeing less and less of these consistency picks as the songs start to get more complex and more difficult. But even though we passed by the group stage, we're still seeing these matches where even the ratio between Rainbow 300s and normal 300s can really make or break the game. For those who aren't aware, the Rainbow 300 window is about 17 milliseconds in either direction. Just for what's the word? I'll start talking again when I know what I'm trying to say. just for reference, if you play at 60 frames per second, which is very low for these strong players, then you get 17 milliseconds between each frame, and that's half of the rainbow window. You're just really dealing with very, very precise timing at this level.
Yeah, you gotta imagine that not only are these precise timings required to kind of pull ahead on accuracy, the timing for hitting and releasing, as we do see quite a few long notes in the map pool and just in maps in general in this stage. So not only do your key presses have to be exact here.
We see a lot of misses coming with these, well, I'm not quite sure, but I did see all three members of the United States team miss. And that's only going to give Philippines a bigger advantage.
Yeah, they do look like they're going to be able to take this one away. Unless we see some really crazy drops on the Philippines side, their overall accuracy should be enough to pull them ahead.
Right, we do have two United States players falling under 99%.
BLV Gari and Mikana also holding over 3K combo, which is very impressive here. Doesn't look like we're going to see the US be able to pull ahead here, as this map is starting to wrap up. The accuracy and score gap is definitely there. Squishy Korean also finding another drop there, dropping his overall accuracy, and this one is just looking like it is going to go to Philippines here.
Meanwhile, the combo passes 4,000.
Yeah, Nakana and BLV Gari, both 4K gods at the moment, holding that combo like it's nobody's business. Arcland getting back into the 1,000 mark, but really, combo definitely helped them out here as well. US just not being able to hold those high combos. And as we see here, still the Rainbow 300 to 300 ratio for the Philippines. Nikana, very impressive play, getting the lowest normal 300s at 648. Absolutely amazing.
So it looks like we are having more back and forth happening, because after United States took those 2 points in a row, Philippines is coming back to win their own pick. We'll see if United States can match that with their next pick. You know, one thing I always loved about Mania is, I guess rhythm games in general, is the combo, because nothing really motivates me to really focus than watching that combo meter go up and hitting those milestones. Because, you know, one mistake and it's over. You go back to 0.
Nivrad, you are a trooper and a soldier, because combo counter is like my worst enemy in any type of music game. Once I get over like 1,000 or 1,500, I just become a nervous wreck. So
yeah, it definitely gets your adrenaline pumping.
Nope, I'm gonna reserve all brain power jokes till we actually have brain power around. But that being said, we're going with move real slow.
Oh, this is an interesting pick here. This is this map is all about the slow jams, which makes sense if you look at the title. It's a map by Aka, and slow jams is a speed effect where you put a very low speed, and well, that's it really. Just test the player's ability to read at different scroll speeds. Now, unlike Taiko, and I guess I would just say unlike Taiko, on Mania, players can choose their own scroll speed. so they can, set it to be ideal for their own reading. But what slow jams does is it kind of forces you to learn this kind of new skill, which is to learn to play to the audio regardless of how fast the notes are moving. But even beyond that, we do have very complex patterns in this one as well. Akka is kind of known, I guess, for these unorthodox patterns. We just saw these jacks on which the United Team States missed, and now we're seeing these long notes. I'm excited to see this song.
Yeah. It actually looks like the Philippines was able to come out of that in that long note section with a little bit of a higher overall accuracy, and that is going to net them that early lead, and that is what they need here if they're trying to break away from the U.S. Of course, this is the U.S.'s pick, so I imagine that they were kind of ready for this, but of course, it doesn't really matter how ready you are if the other team is able to pull that accuracy over you. Squishy Korean finding a drop that's going to definitely work in the Philippines' favor.
That's right, I have to point out that every team on the Philippines side is still holding this whole combo, while no one in the United States is not missed. Right, I don't know if it's the slow jam that got to them or the long note usage, but either way, Philippines is pulling ahead with a strong lead here. We saw a couple of accuracy drops over on the Philippines side when that second slow jam started. Looks like they might have not been prepared for that.
Gekido is going to find himself a miss in that slow jam section as it starts to speed up just a little bit more here. You can see that just with the scroll speed changing ever so slightly and getting a little bit faster, the comfortability of how people are playing the misses and Rainbow 300s drastically change. You can tell just by watching what comfort zone each player has, where they're going to perform best at.
Squishy Korean is a big fan of slow jams. I just thought I'd throw that out there. He likes slow jams. So do I. I think they're really fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, with an accuracy of 99.10% here, you could definitely see that that's working pretty well, but it's not going to work well enough, as it looks like the Philippines is going to be able to take that fourth point 2-4 in favor of the Philippines. Philippines now at potential match point, right where they want to be here. So I do believe the pick is in the Philippines court too, so this is really not looking good for the U.S. They might actually see a defeat here.
You're not kidding. For the United States to win this match, they would have to break Philippines point, take their own pick, and then win the tiebreaker. Also, tiebreaker hype.
Yeah, that is.
I'm game for a tiebreaker.
I mean, we could definitely hope and pray for a tiebreaker, and the U.S. definitely could give it to us. But if the Philippines stays as consistent as they've been, there's not really too much hope. But remember, guys, get your support out there. Let the teams know. Believe it or not, they do check Twitch chat. While I don't inform it as a good idea to do while you're playing, they do. So if you want to see the Philippines take this victory, get out your support for the Philippines. If you want to see the U.S. boys take a victory, get out your support for the U.S. boys. But definitely let your support be known.
Meanwhile, we have Arkwin choosing Zoro Knows Senritsu, which is Arkwin's own map.
And for those asking about being able to represent your country and stuff, real quick, we do have team banners for the Mania World Cup 7Key 2017 tournament. They are available at the O store. You can pick those up. I do believe it's only $2 for a banner, and you can get that. And remember, if you have that banner and your team that you support does happen to win, you'll be able to keep that banner for quite some time after the tournament, showing that you supported the winning team of the Mania 7Key 2017 tournament.
That's right, they're stylish and they go to support events like this. Meanwhile, we are getting started with Zoro Knows Senritsu.
Ooh, the Philippines trying to go for a quick, decisive win with this one. It being TV size, mistakes are not something you want to walk into, and Gekido finding that early miss is not something you want in this situation. Very impressive pick on the Philippines side. No better way to try to cut this out and end it as quickly as possible. going for the short TV size, trying to get the entire team to play to perfection. That is a very good way to secure a point, and saving this till just now was a very smart move on their side.
Not to mention, they are, in fact, in the lead. It looks like their plan is, for now, working out. Nikana with an impressive 99.9%. It's interesting that they chose this map instead of another long note pick, since this one is mostly chords and streams.
Yeah. And I mean,
but it
right
looks like
now,
their accuracy is working out for them.
Yeah, right now the only person that has lower accuracy than the US was BLB Dari, and then with Jinjin dropping really hard there, and Gekiro as well, now the Philippines have a higher overall accuracy with every player versus the US at this moment. So that score is just going to continue to jump in Philippines' favor. They might actually have done this, guys. They might have picked the right maps, one on the right breakpoints. They might be able to take out the US here as what would be considered as an upset just due to the seeding, but they will. That's going to be 5-2 in the favor of Philippines. They're going to take this match.
Well, would you look at that? My prediction was totally incorrect. Philippines proving to be definitely, well, if they can defeat the United States, they are one of the strongest teams in the tournament. I'm not going to lie. And guys, remember that Philippines is a low seed, and they are going to be moving on to the semifinals winners bracket. That is almost as insane as France moving on to the knockout stages despite being no seed. This tournament's really been exciting so far.
Yeah, a lot of things are changing on the game field for 7Key. A lot of things have been different than we were expecting completely. So that means that the U.S. will be in the losers bracket, and they have an uphill climb for the rest of this tournament, I do believe.
Now that the matches are over, that is the last.
Yes, you are correct.
This weekend we'll be going to the Map Pool Showcase next.
We'll be going on to the Map Pool Showcase. I do believe we have Evening helping with that, and if I'm not mistaken, Juan Crystal as well.
Sounds about right.
Meanwhile, we do know the matchups for next weekend's matches, the semifinals round, now that all the matches are over. The United States, having lost this one, will go down to the losers bracket to fight France, while Philippines is China in the semifinals winners bracket. And to summarize, the 4 teams left in the winners bracket in the semifinals will be Philippines, China, South Korea, and Indonesia.
All right, that being said, we'll let you guys get on to the Map Pool Showcase in just a moment. And remember, guys, like I said, those banners are available for purchase in the O store. You can pick those up to support your favorite team, or just pick one up because you like flashy stuff on your profile. I usually get one every tournament. And remember, if you do manage to pick the team that wins, you will get to hold that flag a little bit longer, showing that you supported the winning team of the Mania 2017 7Key World Cup Tournament.
We will also be having a recap after the showcase to get you guys caught up on what's been happening so far in the tournament.
All right, well, with that, I'll be taking my leave. Thanks so much for coming out and watching, guys. They'll be getting on to the Map Pool Showcase in just a moment. I hope you guys have a great day for the rest of the day. And remember, next weekend after the Map Pool Showcases, we will be having more matches. So definitely stick around with more Mania World Cup coverage following, well, not following the Map Pool Showcase, but the following week.
Thank you, Ztron, and have a nice day.
For sure.
I believe that is Juan joining us now.
Hello, I'm back.